I know you do the blog. Is it specifically named or anything like that?
Well, there's a couple ways to get to it. Probably the easiest would be to find my website. It's www.ctmlaw.com. There's a link on that website to my elder fraud blog. I've maintained that for a period of time. And on that blog link at www.ctmlaw.com, you can go to articles that I find helpful. For instance, Jonathan was talking about some of these scams and how some look like legitimate businesses. And there's a helpful article that I uploaded that contains names of different agencies that you can contact, including the AG's office, the FBI, number for the FBI, different federal and state agencies that have been set up that maintain databases that would have the names of some of the known fraudulent people. So that's one thing people can do. The problem is that with the elderly population, a lot of elders are not computer savvy. And they don't have access to those kind of resources. It makes it very difficult. It's a very difficult sector of the population to protect. Oftentimes, my clients or the victims have been widowed, so they're living independently in this economy, this time of modernity. A lot of times kids aren't living in the neighborhood, so the kids might be in Washington or Florida or so. So mom is alone, still able to live independently. Maybe her memory is not as good as it used to be, and judgment also is declining, not to the point that there's anything that's overly obvious to anyone. And these people are at great risk, and the dollars involved are huge. Many of these people have accumulated wealth over their lifetime of hard working and saving, being very frugal. And they're lonely, they have a lot of money, they're isolated, the ingredients for a difficult problem. And oftentimes they're not comfortable with the changing technologies, so they don't know how to use a computer, they don't have all the smartphone capabilities that younger people have. It's difficult just to turn on a television these days. You almost need a guy to get your TVs hooked up and do all the things that have to be done. And that technology creates an even more increasing isolation. There's no easy solution. Many people ask me, what can I do to avoid this? Unfortunately, there's no easy answer. I tell people if something is new or different and involves any substantial sum of money, run it by someone else. If you have a family member, even if they are out of state, at least call them up and ask them, what do you think of this idea? Or if there's someone, a local, a good neighbor or a good friend, ask someone. All of the frauds that I've been involved in, that did not happen. That's the one thing that's common, is the elder victim acted by themselves in isolation, didn't tell the other the other children, or didn't tell other members of the family, didn't seek out help from a close friend.
Do you find that often the folks who are the most susceptible to this don't feel that they need help? They don't feel that they're in a dire situation? Do you feel, and I know a lot of your cases are like family oriented, and of course every family has its own history and labyrinth and story, and maybe there's jealousies and things like that, and maybe until 3/4 of the funds are gone, maybe nobody knows.
Unfortunately, that's the case.
So how do you know?
It's very difficult because
Who do you ask?
it's particularly difficult because with the declining, with the aging and the declining mentation, we lose our judgment. It's kind of like an analogy might be drinking. You know, after we've been drinking, we lose our ability to judge. Are we able to drive? Are we so intoxicated that we shouldn't be doing the activity we're doing? Well, you lose that ability. That also happens slowly with this aging process.
It's not overnight, is it?
It's not overnight.
And if you're drinking and elderly, I suppose it's even worse. Right?
And some of my clients have been highly effective, very intelligent people in their past, advanced degrees. I had a client that had very advanced degrees, obviously a brilliant person during their career. Now, you know, by the time she comes to me, she's well into her 80s. Wasn't really aware that she had lost the ability to make sound judgments.
And didn't want to hear it probably either, did
Of course
they?
not, no.
Yeah.